New York Attorney General Letitia James suing the Trump administration over freezing nearly $7 billion in education funding. She's joined by almost 24 other attorney generals across the country. That money earmarked for initiatives that included bullying and suicide prevention programs.
Joining us now with the very latest is Chalkbeat National Editor Erica Meltzer. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about how this is going to specifically impact New Yorkers here.
Yeah, absolutely. These were a big set of federal funds that covered everything from teacher training to support for English learners to summer school programming to adult education. We're talking tens of thousands of people who could potentially not get services because these funds were withheld.
Right. You know, the Trump administration is accusing states of using the federal funds to subsidize a radical left-wing agenda, including in New York, to promote illegal immigrant advocacy organizations. Even if you take that to be true, they can't just shut off this money, can they?
Not legally, at least as this group of attorneys general understands the law, and I think as most people have understood the law historically, there's supposed to be a process if the federal government feels like funds are being misspent, and that has not happened here.
Let's talk about the fact that they're going to be missing this hole of money. Can the states find other ways to fund this and fill that gap rather than having to rely on the federal government?
So everyone's looking for additional money, whether it's private fundraising or state funds, but I think a lot of states find themselves really pressed right now. There's a lot of needs out there. There's a lot of economic uncertainty, and it's pretty hard to make up this amount of money. So, for example, in New York, it's $463 million that's currently being withheld, and that doesn't count other grants that have been already canceled or withheld.
Right, that's the thing. I mean, there's no way for the states to make up such a massive pool of money coming from the federal government. Let's talk about the timing. Obviously, the new school year is just around the corner. That's leading to all sorts of uncertainty about how this eventually plays out in the courts and elsewhere.
That was a really big shock for school systems. This money was supposed to be released on July 1. Everyone was planning on it. People had contracts in place. They'd hired staff. And then they learned on June 30th that they would not be receiving this money. It's allegedly under review, but there hasn't been any information about what's involved in that review.
You talked about this being under review. What do you think in terms of your findings? What do you think is going to play out when it comes September?
That's really hard to say, but for context, the Office of Management and Budget is saying that the funds are not being spent in ways that align with the president's priorities. And these same sets of funding streams are ones that in President Trump's budget proposal, he's proposed not funding at all in fiscal year 26. So I think we could see this as a push by the executive branch to exert authority over this money, even though Congress has already authorized it. All of which is to say, I would not necessarily expecting it to show up in September.
Yeah. All right. To be continued. It's a fight we've seen time and time again in different parts of the government as well. Erica Meltzer, we appreciate it from Chalkbeat. Thanks so much.
Thank you.